Welcome back, students. So now that we have an understanding of how to basically do the math that is involved with time signatures, it's time to talk about why time signatures are useful. Why do we have them to begin with? Specifically, how does a measure of 4/4 sound different from a measure of 3/3, or 3/4, excuse me? So if we look at these two examples, they look pretty similar on the surface. So we have a three measure thing of 4/4, which totals out to be 12 quarter notes. And then we have four measures of 3/4, which totals out to be 12 quarter notes. So both of these are showing 12 quarter notes. But you can tell which one is 4/4 and which one is 3/4 by the sound of them. And this is why we have time signatures. Okay, so I'm going to use some little symbols up here just to show what's called the emphasis. Now, what I'm about to show isn't universally always the set of emphasis for a particular measure. We're going to talk about that more when we get into some more complex time signatures. But for now, let's just trust me on this for a second. So our emphasis is going to be this little caret, and the non-emphasis is going to be the dash. So in a measure of 4/4, you typically have an alternation of emphasis, non-emphasis. Where this emphasis will fall kind of depends on your style. So if I have emphasis on beats 1 and 3, that's typically rock and pop music. If I put it on 2 and 4, for instance, that's usually jazz. And composers will change where they're putting it to be creative. But for now, let's just note that our emphasis is on these carets and our non-emphasis is the dash. So if I am going to perform this piece, this lovely piece I have written here, let's say the emphasis is a clap and the non-emphasis is a stomp. Okay? So this is going to sound like you get the picture. Okay? Now, let's look at our 3/4 time signature. Here, we're going to have emphasis, non, non. Emphasis, non, non. Okay, so now you're really going to be able to hear why 3/4 is different from 4/4. So let's refresh. 4/4 sounds like this. And 3/4 sounds like this. I'll post some examples online so that you can really hear this in a musical context. That's going to make it as clear as it can be. But what composers start doing is playing with these patterns of emphasis, non-emphasis to get some really unique sounding music. So we will see a few examples of that when we start talking about complex time signatures. We'll do now. So let's take a look at this example. We have a time signature of 5/4. Okay, what's particularly interesting about 5/4 is that you can put this emphasis in different places. So we can have let's say we do emphasis, non, emphasis, non, non. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something like that. Or we could do emphasis, non, non, emphasis, non. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're still doing it in a group of 2 and a group of 3, but we're putting that somewhere else. And that sort of thing is particularly interesting in a time signature like 12/8. So there are numerous ways that we could group these together. We could do 2 groups of 6, so we could put the grouping there. We can do groups of 3. We can alternate 3/4, 3/2. So there are a lot of different things you can do there, and those will all create different effects when you actually play it. So that's why we use time signatures. It gives us a sense of what the music feels like. And if you look in the description, I have a list of examples of songs in different time signatures. If you listen to those, you'll really be able to tell the difference.